Welcome to Everyday Martial Artist, a weekly podcast where you'll join me, Brian Doucette, as I interview a different martial artist each episode and hear their story. Some guests you may have heard of, and some you probably haven't. Be sure to subscribe where all your favorite podcasts are available. Also visit our website at everydaymartialartist.com. If you're listening for a specific interview, I sure hope you'll stay and check out the other episodes. A very special thank you to Topher Williams for our custom theme music. And now, the newest episode of Everyday Martial Artist. Everyday Martial Artist is brought to you by KOOnline.com for all your martial arts needs. Sparring and safety gear, rank belts, uniforms, weapons, patches, and more. Wholesale supplies made by martial artists for martial artists. Visit us today at ko-online.com. Hello and welcome to Everyday Martial Artist. I'm your host, Brian Doucette, and as we do every week, we're joined by a brand new guest talking about their life and their journey throughout the world of martial arts and other stuff they're involved in. My guest today is a veteran fight choreographer, stunt coordinator, action designer, and stuntman who discovered his undeniable passion and naturally gifted ability for martial arts at a young age. As a child, he and his family moved from El Salvador to the metropolitan D.C. area of Virginia. From there, he traveled to competition circuit and earned a top 10 NASKA rating in forms, weapons, and sparring. In 2000, he moved to Hollywood, where he began what would be a rewarding career in television, film, and streaming. To date, he's appeared in over 170 productions, including performances for Marvel and DC, and a litany of other popular series and television shows. He won a Screen Actors Guild Award for outstanding performance in both Iron Man and Pirates of the Caribbean. He was also nominated by MTV and the Taurus Awards for Best Fight in Rundown. Love that movie. In addition, he's also flexed his theatrical muscle as an actor in Cobra Kai, The Vigilante, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and many more. In his downtime, you can find him training and teaching others. Please welcome my guest today, Mr. Geo Corvera. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, what's happening? I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you. Seriously, I truly appreciate your time, and I'm glad we're doing this. I know you, as my guests are getting used to, another guest recommended by Mr. Francis Pineda. Love Mr. Pineda. He's I tell people he's probably sent me about 30% of my guests now, so
That's awesome.
He's one of my go-tos. Like, hey, you have any cool people you can send me?
That's hilarious. It's cool though.
Yeah, I love it. I got to meet him in person for the first time about a year and a half ago. And
what? Really?
Yeah, such a nice guy. I was out in DC for basically one day to pick up my son and come back, and I made time to stop over at the gym and meet him. So it was kind of cool.
Oh, no way. That's funny. That's cool.
Yeah, but he spoke very highly about you, and I'm excited we're going to do this.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah.
Well, what we do with all my guests, what I want to do is, I mentioned you had the passion at a young age, but I want to know where it started, kind of where that first interest in martial arts came from, what kind of kicked off that martial arts journey for you?
Yeah, so like you said, I was born in El Salvador. I came to the States when I was 7 years old. Around that age, I was watching Bruce Lee and Ninja Turtle.
Nice.
And I wanted to be Bruce Lee and Ninja Turtle. I was running around kicking everything in the house. So my dad's like, oh, do you want to try karate? And I'm like, of course, So at 8 years old, he signed me up, and I loved it, man. From day one, I wanted to do it. Like I said, I wanted to be Bruce Lee and Ninja Turtles. Started competing when I was 9 years old throughout the U.S. Yeah. And I'll be honest, man, from the beginning, I was almost winning. I was always in the top 5, I would say, placing in the top 5 in all those of the weapons, forms, and sparring. So it was kind of like, something that it was part of me. It came a little natural, I mean, I definitely put in a lot of work too, hours and hours and hours. And just started doing it. Yeah.
So what was that first style, and who was that first instructor?
Yeah, I grew up doing Taekwondo. I do mixed martial arts now just because of the movie business. You want to be able to adjust to different things, right? Boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, everything. But yeah, I'm a third degree black belt in Taekwondo. I started at Junri, in Virginia. My coaches were Elsa Cordero, Arlene Lemus, and Robert Chung.
Okay.
And Arlene Lemus, she was a 1988 Olympic gold medalist.
Yes.
Both Robert Chan and Elsa were NASKA competitors in the top 10 with the forms and sparring also. So, yeah, man, I got lucky to have had great instructors, very talented. They knew what they were doing, you know, and they taught me very well, I
actually remember I used to go to the Diamond Nationals to watch my friends compete. I was never a huge competitor, but I used to go watch, and I remember actually watching Elsa compete back then. So,
Oh, no way. Yeah.
I saw her compete a few times, probably in the early 90s. So
Yeah, she was my instructor, man. Actually, I stay in touch with all of them. Of course, they're not training anymore.
mm-hmm.
They're doing other things and stuff. But still, catch up. Actually, with Elsa, we meet up once in a while. Have lunch and stuff. So
That's
catch
cool.
up.
And Arlene's actually going to be on the show. We've been texting and emailing back and forth for about 2 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know she's very busy, and
she is.
She's being very patient. But I usually every couple months I'll send her a message like, "Hey, how does the next few weeks look?" And hopefully we'll get in there soon. I can't wait to chat with her.
Yeah, these guys stay busy. Yeah,
nice.
That's awesome, though.
So think about that very first day your dad brought you to that class and you jumped right in. What was it about it? What made you want to keep going, that you're still doing it all these years later? What, was it something specific about that style, that instructor? Kind of what drew you in?
Not really, like I said, because of the movies the karate movies I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
I was just into the whole punching and kicking thing.
Okay.
And then I'm not gonna lie, the first tournament that I went to, I was really scared and nervous, but I saw those trophies. I don't know if they're still making this way now, but they used to have these 6-foot trophies. That was the first place. Yep. Like that was like motivation. I want a big trophy, bigger than me, blah, blah, And it took me a minute, honestly, before I ended up getting a first place. But that was my motivation. I was just already liking to punch and kick.
Okay.
So my first karate class, my first intro, the whole thing, wearing the uniform, bowing, I don't know. I just loved everything about it.
So what, you said you remember that first tournament. What happened during that very first tournament? Do you remember how you did?
Yeah, actually I placed second on everything, on forms, weapons, and sparring. I got a funny story with the sparring. So like I said, I was pretty good, man. I'm not bragging. And, I was like, of course, like I said, I put in time also, but, I was pretty good for my experience. And in my karate school, I was always sparring, kind of beating up on the other kids my age. And so my instructor was like, you should spar in the tournament now. And then I didn't want to do it. Not at the tournament. I didn't mind doing it at the school, sparring with friends, but I didn't want. So I ended up doing it. They signed me up. And of course, I'm winning my first couple of fights I get for first and second. I ended up punching the kid in the nose. And remember, we're 9 years old, okay? Yeah. So, and I drew blood. So you're not allowed to draw blood when you're kids. No. So I got disqualified.
Dang.
So I started crying because I knew that I wasn't going to get that 6-foot trophy. That was the reason I was crying. I didn't care about the kid. He was crying because his nose was bleeding. I'm crying because I wanted the 6-foot tall trophy,
That's
but yeah, that was my first experience with my first. Yeah, I was 9 years old. I was a red belt.
Wow.
I remember that. That's pretty funny.
What was your go-to weapon when you competed?
At first, there was the kamas.
Okay.
If people are familiar, the stick with the blade.
Yeah.
But then I always got interested in all of them. I did competed with nunchucks, swords, bow staff. So, I tried a couple of different ones.
Okay. Was there one that you did better with in competition, do you think?
I would say the kamas, honestly.
Okay.
I love the twirling and around the fingers and things like that. And of course, the strikes. But yeah, I think just because I did that a little bit longer, I didn't start doing the other weapons till like later as a black belt. Mm-hmm. And the kamas I started earlier in the martial arts. So I had more experience. I guess maybe I felt more comfortable with it. Yeah. But yeah, I love them all though.
Nice.
But yeah, I did better with the kamas. Yeah.
And when you did forms competition, did you do the musical forms, traditional, or did you do both?
In the beginning, it was just traditional. Okay. Remember, this is what year? Like, I'll be honest, it was like 1988.
Okay.
I'm already giving out. Yeah, I'm a dinosaur, But so I don't think they had musical forms for the kids as far as I can remember.
Okay.
Definitely not in the lower belts, maybe as in black belt. So I didn't start doing, so I was all traditional forms in the very beginning. Then when I got into black belt, I remember now I was 11, 12 years old. And then, I started doing the musical forms. And of course, people, because it's a creative form, people were starting to add gymnastics, not like the kids are doing now.
Yeah.
But maybe you'll see see somebody doing like a one-hand cartwheel or something.
Mm-hmm.
That was like our big tricks, back then.
I think one of the first ones I remember seeing with musical forms back then was Carmichael Simon.
Oh yeah. He's my competitor actually.
Yep.
Me and Carmichael, I have to tell a story.
Yeah.
I don't know if Carmichael is gonna watch this and he's gonna remember. So like I said, I started competing when I was 9. I got my black belt by 11. I used to in the beginning just do local tournaments in the DMV area. That's Maryland, DC, and Virginia.
Okay.
And it was back then. There were a lot of tournaments, almost like every weekend kind of thing, right? So Carmichael's from Maryland. Okay. So as a kid, he was like already doing the 540s, jump split kicks where no other kids were doing, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they were, they didn't look good. Okay. So I remember seeing Carmichael again. I'm about 12, maybe even 13 years old. Can't remember, doing a 540 kick. Okay. Remember, this is like the late 80s. We didn't have, there was a big old cameras, but we couldn't, my family, didn't have the money to buy the big camera. So I just remember him doing this kick, a 540 kick. Okay. I went home. I'm not going to lie, Brian, like I practiced for like a month and it was all memory. I'm like, he stepped like this and then he jumped like this and he landed in one leg like this. And I mean, I was falling in my face like thousands of times, right?
Yeah.
Went back to a karate tournament. Carmichael's there. Okay. I swear to God, I remember like it was yesterday. I did the song, the movie Batman just came out, the very, very first one.
Yep.
Okay.
Michael Keaton.
And the song from Friends, Bat Dance. I did that song.
Yep.
Okay. And there's this one part in the song where Prince goes, keep busting. And I threw the 540. Everyone went crazy and looked over at Carmichael like, dude, you got competition now. Carmichael was blowing everybody out of the water. He was like really, really good as a kid, because I don't know if you remember, he did karate, but also he would do wushu, and halfway in his forms, he would split and go into wushu. Yeah. And he was doing like the B twists and like I said, 540s, aerials. And you wouldn't see that with kids. It was only adults. As far as I remember, like Ho-San Park, Ho-Young Park, the brothers who were doing that stuff because they were doing the wushu stuff. And no kids. So when I threw my first 540 around, 12, 13 years old, everyone went crazy and we're like, Carmichael, you got competition now. And that's awesome. That's how we became friends.
That's cool.
Yeah. So,
he's such a cool guy. He has the record of being my fastest interview. So this was like 3 years ago. He was on my list when I first started the show to get to, and I sent him a message on social media. It's like, hey, well, no way you'd remember me. I met you like 30 years ago at the Diamond Nationals, but I'd love to interview you. And he's like, sure. How about in a half hour? So literally half hour after I messaged him, we're doing the interview. So
hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
he's a cool dude, man. I like him. We stay in touch through the social media now and then.
That's cool. Yeah, he's such a great guy. And it's funny you mentioned seeing that kick and going back. I remember I didn't do competitions, but a buddy of mine who was in Taekwondo with me, we were big movie buffs and we went and saw Best of the Best 2.
Oh,
and there's the scene when Simon Reed does this in the air jumping side kick, turning side kick. And me and my friend are like, the hell was that? And we both had keys to the gym, the Taekwondo school. So after the movie, 11 o'clock at night, we were there until 3 a.m. until we got that kick down.
Brian, that's so crazy. Me, Arnold, and Kofi, you got to get actually these guys also on your podcast.
Definitely.
Arnold Chan, big time, second unit director, stunt coordinator. Kofi Adam, he was one of the Black Panther stunt doubles. Really, they're both, awesome guys, very talented. We've known each other since we were kids, and we would do the exact same thing, man. I remember when the movie Only the Strong came out, the Capoeira movie.
Oh, yeah, I love
Best of the Best, of course. Bloodsport. Oh, my God. We'll watch these movies and then go back and try to copy all the stuff that they were doing.
Nice. Mark Dacascos was my 200th guest, actually, on the show.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is cool.
Man, I remember because I just said Bloodsport. We're trying to learn how the splits, and I don't know if you remember in the movie, they would tie Van Damme's legs and pull him. They were doing stuff like that. We thought movies were real. Like, dude, that's how they train. That's how they get good.
I remember we bought one of those stretch machines where you sit into and like crank it.
Oh, yeah, I remember those. That's hilarious.
Those were brutal, man. The worst one I first time I ever tried to do splits, we had a tile floor in the apartment in our kitchen, and I put rollerblades on. So my legs would slide out further, and man, I don't think I ever pulled the full splits doing that, but it hurt, that's for sure.
I know, right? They were trying to do the splits on the chairs.
Oh, yeah.
My God, they were painful and falling everywhere.
That's so awesome. And you mentioned Arnold Chan. Actually, Brett Chan mentioned him too when I interviewed him. So,
oh, really? Yeah.
I definitely got to get him on the show.
Yeah, Arnold, man, he stays busy. You know, if he's not doing movie stuff, he trains like UFC fighters. Actually, he's training somebody as we speak, you know, and up in New Jersey. I just saw him a couple of weeks ago. I went up there to train with him. Yeah, that's the thing with these guys, man. They're nonstop, you know.
Yeah, I've been trying to get Mike Chat for a while too, and I've talked to him a few times, and he's super busy.
Yeah, they got their hands on a lot of stuff. It's not just like movie stuff either, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I get that. So throughout that time, first of all, how long were you at that school? How long did you stay there?
So Jun Rhee, like I said, I ended up getting my black belt there. So we'll say about 3 years.
Okay.
And then Jeff Smith was part of Jun Rhee.
Yep.
And then he opened up his own gym. So I ended up moving to because of my instructors, you know, these people I just mentioned, Elsa, Arlene, and Robert Chun, they went to work for Jeff. So I ended up going to and it was called World Champion Jeff Smith Karate.
Okay.
So I went there, I'm gonna say another 3 years or so, and then Arlene, Elsa, and Robert, they opened up their own school called Power Kicks.
Okay.
So now by this time, I'm gonna say about 14, maybe 15.
Okay.
And I went with them. They were my favorite instructors, you know.
Yep,
and so I ended up following wherever they were going, I was there. And that's where actually I ended up staying the longest, ended up, you know, working for them, being a martial arts instructor for them. But yeah, they had a 1.4 Power Kick schools.
Wow.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned doing some instructing for them. So what made you want to teach martial arts?
Well, first of all, actually, it was part of when you were going to test for like second or third degree, you have to have a number of credits of certain things. You know, if you're under 18, you have to show your grades, you know, good grades. You have to help, you know, in the community. What kind of help? What else? Teaching. You have to have a certain number of hours of helping out for free. We weren't getting paid, you know, at least, you know. So it was things like that. But you know, one thing about teaching that I learned that when you teach other people, man, you actually end up learning more yourself. You end up getting even better in whatever you're teaching. You know, it's almost like you're listening to yourself when you're teaching somebody how to throw a jab and a cross and a roundhouse kick, you know, so you pay attention to more details. So when you go practice, you remember what you were telling your students and then you apply it, you know. So I actually got better when I started teaching.
So did you ever cross your mind or ever have any thoughts of possibly opening your own school?
Yeah, at one point, actually, with my dad, it was more like his idea, honestly.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I just wanted to compete, and I love traveling. I love competing. I love the training. My dad is like, now by this time, I'm about 19 or 20 years old, and the school started closing, you know, just business dying, just a bunch of different reasons, right? And then so my dad is like, so what are you going to do now? You know, all my life, I've only been doing martial arts. I've never done anything. So he's like, what do you think about trying to open up a place? You know, he was going to help me, you know, with the money and things like that. And I was like, oh, I don't know, Dad, you know, it's a lot of work. And I'll be honest, I thought about going to the Army. Okay. Yeah, I went and actually I failed the test, the written test. I failed it. And the guy was like, oh, you know, you study, come back. And that's when Arnold Chan had moved to LA to get into movies. And he about a year before that. And then he had been trying to convince me to move to LA. And he's like, hey, you know, you always talked about wanting to be in movies. You know, you should come out here, blah, blah, blah. And then I told my dad, I said, let me go try it at least for a year or two, you know, and see what happens. And yeah, man, that was another part of the history, you know.
So how long did it take before you got your first, you know, movie gig? What did you do for work, you know, when you were out there to survive?
Yeah. Tell me about it, because we're struggling. Like people hear the stories, you know, like seriously, man, I would go like 2 or 3 days sometimes of not eating because I didn't have any money. So Arnold was already more established. He already been on a TV show. I don't know if you remember that TV show Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah.
You know, so he had already, So now he was already working. He couldn't really help me because he went into the business a different way, you know, about getting my SAG card. So I started doing background work. I was an extra.
Okay.
So at that time, this is back to 2000. Okay. A background will get paid, I think it was $40 for 8 hours.
Okay.
And that's before taxes. So I was really taking home $30.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wasn't working every day. It would be like 2 or 3 times a week. They would call me to do extra work. So yeah, I ended up getting 2 jobs at Universal Studios at City Walk, the Universal Studio store, and Sam Goody's, the music store. So I was doing all those 3 things, you know. I ended up let go of the Universal Studio store because I got called for a music video to double. I don't know if you remember this artist called Cisco. He was like big time.
Definitely.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a music video called I think it's called Unleash the Dragon.
Okay.
And he's fighting with the dragon. So, you know, he's short, you know, small kind of guy. So I don't think they can find anybody. So they ended up bringing me in. And I'm not going to lie, it was going to be a weekend thing. And I was going to make like $4,000. Okay. So I told my boss at the store, I said, hey, I need Saturday and Sunday off. I'm going to work on this music video. And he's like, no, we need everybody. We're getting a big shipment with stuff. No one's taking off. I said, no, dude, I need to. Whatever. You know this? Because I already had told him that I had moved from Virginia to LA to get into movies. So they were, and in the beginning, of course, they were cool. Like, oh, yeah, you know, just let us know. Give us a heads up when you're going to need a day off, blah, 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 blah. But with our business, sometimes they call you at the last minute. Hey, are you available to work tomorrow, 6 a.m.? And you're like, you got to be ready.
Yep.
So he told me, he said, if you don't come back again. You know? So like I told you, I was going to make like $4,000 for that weekend. So I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to go do this. And yeah, luckily I made, you know, that money so it could hold me up. And, you know, and then I ended up actually meeting another guy that owned a karate school, Tim Connolly. It was his name. He's also a stunt coordinator. And he hired me to teach. So now I started doing the teaching. But then I would also go to a gymnastics place back then where a lot of like break dancers, gymnasts, some people would meet. And somebody was like, oh, did you hear about this audition? They're looking for little guys that can do martial arts and gymnastics. You should go audition. So, of course, I show up and literally it's like, I don't know, 60, 80 guys. I can't remember, a lot of little guys that can do gymnastics and martial arts, you know. And they were only going to pick 5. You know, out of these like 50, 60 guys, can't remember, you know, and I was one of the guys that got picked up, and that being the movie, The Rundown, you know, with The Rock. Yeah. That was my first big movie. And I would say, it was my 3rd year, man, being out there. So it took me, you could say, really 3 years. Because once I got on The Rundown, then it was like a snowball effect. I started getting calls like every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Can we use you? Are you available to work for this movie, this TV show, blah, blah. And that's how it all started. Wow.
And I'm assuming, you know, when you got the job in The Rundown, with your background in martial arts and NASKA competing, you knew who Ernie Reyes Jr. was, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up watching, remember I'm up there, bro. I saw Sidekicks when Ernie was, you know, doing the TV show. That was actually another show, another reason about me doing martial arts, you know, Ernie. Okay. And then all of a sudden, you know, we became friends and we were training to do that guy. Even now, man. Dude, he loves to work out. Yeah. He goes hard, brother. Like, and, you know, I've always been that kind of person. You know, I just love the hard work. You know, even if I'm struggling, I'm dying in, breathing hard. I'm like, give me some more, give me some more. So, yeah, we became friends, man. We would meet every single day. I'm not kidding. Okay. 6 a.m. at the track to run. And then we're doing the paddle kicking. We were there for like 3 hours every day. Yep.
That is cool.
So, yeah.
I met him and his dad at the Diamond Nationals when they were there promoting Surf Ninjas back in the early 90s.
Oh, it's Surf Ninja. Yeah.
So, yeah. And he's going to hopefully be on the show someday. He was one of the first ones I talked to. Yeah. Like 4.5 years ago, I talked to him when my show first started and he said yes. And then he unfortunately had his health issues. So,
I remember. You're right.
Yeah. So I just need to try to get a hold of him again and hopefully he's still willing to do it. But yeah, he'd be.
Even his dad, man, I just saw him. I don't know if he was receiving an award or something. I saw something online. Dude, he's still like ripped up.
Yeah, I would not mess with Ernie Reyes Sr. No way.
Yeah, right? I'm like, damn. But that's the kind of stuff I like, man. I love surrounding myself with people that are motivated, you know, and goal-oriented in life, you know, about their health, you know, and just improving, you know, their lives. And he's one of them, man.
Nice. Now, I know you've also done some in front of camera stuff. So what led to that? Did someone talk you into like taking some acting lessons, or kind of how did your first actual acting role come about?
So with stunts, for people if they're not really familiar, so there's a stunt double who you don't really see because they're just shooting from the back of you, because they can't see the your face. And then of course there's a stunt performer who you actually see, but we don't talk. We're playing like a bodyguard or like a gangster guy, and if a fight breaks out, you get beat up and you get shot up. So I don't really double. I haven't really doubled, honestly, too many people. And if I did, it was like a one-time thing. So my point with that is like, I've always played myself. So you actually see me, on the screen. Like I said, I just don't talk,
Yep.
Sometimes when you're on set, the director will say, oh, can we have this guy say something, say a line like, he went that way or something,
Yep.
And so I used to get like little stuff like that. Say this or, whatever, say that. So in a way I was kind of doing acting, you could say. A friend of mine invited me to go see her agent, and I was just, going, keeping her company kind of thing. So when we were there, the agent asked me, are you in the business? We got to talking, basically, they signed me up and she became my agent, and she started submitting me for stuff. She was actually my commercial agent, which is funny. I was with them. I'm not with them anymore. I'm with a different agent now, but I was with them for, I'm going to say, about 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Remember, they were my commercial agent. I ended up booking a commercial like in my 12th year of being with them.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Trust me. But you know what's so crazy? Remember, she was my commercial agent. She also would submit me for theatrical stuff, which that was really not her department. And when she would submit me for the theatrical stuff, that's, features and TV shows, I would book those. So my thing wasn't commercials, but, actually, like big parts or bigger parts. So, so she started sending me out to auditions, and, man, been blessed to have booked some pretty big ones, so, and it was fun, man. You're in front of the camera saying your lines, and on some of these, I wasn't getting beat up or killed. So, so it was easier than stunts,
Right. Yeah, definitely. I know, I'm looking through your list. One of your first acting jobs was on, at the time, one of my favorite shows, The District. So,
The District, yeah.
Because I used to watch, that was on Saturday nights. I mean, that's the one with Craig T. Nelson, I think, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
It was on back to back with Martial Law, Sammo Hung. I think District was on first, and then Martial Law was on after. I'd watch them both back to back. So
you're right. I forgot about that.
That's cool. And I gotta ask, because one of my favorite TV shows is Cobra Kai. I'm trying to picture which episode were you in?
So I came in. They brought me in on the last season.
Okay.
And the way on the last season, they ended up breaking it in 3 parts because they shot 15 episodes, I think it was. So they split them by 5. So I'm on the second set. It was, I'm gonna say, like episode if you're counting 1 through 15, number 7. So it was the second set, and it's the part where me and the other stunt performer actor Felix Cortez, we kidnap
Daniel.
Yep. And we put him in there's like this like I could say basement with all these dog cages.
Yep.
So we put him in there. And then my friend ends up looking through the window, seeing, he escaped. And actually he was hiding behind something. So he comes in, he grabs my friend, slams him into a pole. I grab like a crowbar. I swing at him. He dodges, he runs, and he opened one of the dog cages, and he's like, you should have fed your dog. And he opens the cage, and the dog attacks me and takes me down. So yeah, I got to work with the Karate Kid.
Dude, that is so awesome.
The real Karate Kid, Daniel Russo. So that's a cool thing about, this stuff, man. I mean, I don't know how some people see movie people. Maybe like either we're stuck up, snobby, or some people are like, oh, that's an awesome job. For me, man, I love it. I've gotten to work on some big projects like this. We're talking about Cobra Kai. I mean, that's another movie I grew up in. I saw all the Karate Kids like 100 times, and now I'm here working with them, So, and then we're talking about, getting on the rundown. I mean, I grew up watching WWE, and The Rock was one of my favorite ones. I was always practicing the eyebrow thing, and I couldn't do it. and you know, that
Wow.
The Rock does. And then I'm here like hanging out with these guys, talking to them, you know, like, oh my God, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, it's definitely been a fun experience, you know,
Yeah.
25 years now in the game. I love it, man. I don't have nothing, you know, bad to say. You know, I love working with everybody, the traveling, the people I got to meet. I mean, everything. The projects were awesome. The fight stuff, the stunts, even though they were crazy, you know, car hits, fire burns, you know, wire work, stair falls, you name it. I almost done, you know, a lot of crazy stuff, you know.
Wow. First of all, that's so cool because Karate Kid, the movie, is the reason I got into martial arts. I've told
Oh, no way.
my listeners are probably sick about hearing it, but I tell almost all my guests because literally June of '84 went to opening night of the Karate Kid, and we were walking out of the movie theater. A local Tung Sudo school was in the lobby handing out free passes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And that's how so like Ralph Macchio is one of my dream guests. I really want to get him, but I think you might be either the 6th or 7th person I've had that has been involved with the Karate Kid universe on my show now.
Oh, no way.
Because on that same episode you were on, William Christopher Ford, who played Dennis.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis, yep, he was my 49th episode. I've had Sean Kanan.
Oh, no way.
Sean Kanan,
Okay.
who was Mike Barnes. Daryl Vidal, who was in the final season also, and the original. Ron Thomas, who played Bobby, and Sensei Fumio Demura was on my show also. So I've been.
Oh wow, you've had some.
I've been very lucky now. You know, so you're added to that list of, you know, the Karate Kid universe.
Hell yeah, great.
That's really
awesome.
really kind of cool.
Yeah, totally.
So is there, you know, whether it's acting or stunt work or, you know, whatever you've been doing, is there one or two other ones that really stand out as just an amazing experience, or like you had like a really cool experience with an actor or something like that on another cool story?
I have to always bring up, I got an acting part on the TV show Agents of Shields.
Nice.
And it was funny because I got to tell a little backstory.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been, you know, working in Atlanta at the time on Ant-Man. I was on there for like 2 months on Ant-Man in Atlanta. So now it's like the first week of December. So I'm back in LA. I'm trying to, you know, the holidays are coming. You know, like I said, I've been gone for 2 months. You know, I just want to chill and relax. My agent calls me and she's like, hey, I want you to go read for this TV show called Agents of Shields. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't really want to. I've been out of town. You know, I just want to get ready for the holidays kind of thing. He's like, nah. You know, you should go. I'm like, okay. So I go. Of course, I did the audition. I don't know if you know or people out there know how auditions work. If you haven't heard, you know, within like 2, maybe even 3 days, that means you didn't get it. You got to move on. I mean, you should move on anyways after you audition, you know, but I didn't get called for like 2 weeks or so. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I get called and they're like, oh, this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Productions. You know, are you available to work these dates? And I'm thinking stunts, you know, but then I remember about the audition. So I said, hey, I got a question. A couple of weeks ago, I went for an acting part for your show. Is this the same thing? And they were like, yes, you booked it. I'm like, oh my God, whatever, you know,
Nice.
like, yeah, because like I said, it's been like 2 weeks or so later after the audition. So now it was an acting piece. And they brought me in, and of course, you know, there's a part where my power is that I have strength. I'm really strong. I took steroids and things like that in the scene.
Okay.
So I ended up doing a fight with Ming Na. She's like one of the leads, you know.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And dude, the fight was awesome. Matt Mullins actually was the fight coordinator for that project,
Nice.
so he put in a good fight. But check this out real quick. So I remember we were rehearsing. And I hear the stunt coordinator. I had never met the stunt coordinator at the time. And I hear him talking about we need to get stunt doubles for all these actors. Okay. So I walk over there and then I'm like, hey, I heard you guys are getting stunt doubles, you know, for the actors. They're like, yeah. And I told him, I said, I actually do stunts and I'm a martial artist, you know, and he's like, really? And then Matt Mullins, who's also was, you know, a NASKA competitor. He knows me from the competition. He's like, oh yeah, Geo, he's good, blah, blah. So it's funny. Everyone in the cast had a stunt double except for me.
Nice.
You know,
that's awesome.
I got to do my own fight stuff. Of course, you know, that's my thing because of martial arts. So yeah, man, we had a good fight, and then I got like a little 15 minutes of fame, you know, from that show.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to all these TV interviews, radio interviews. I ended up getting my own trading card, you know, so I'm part of like the Marvel World thing, you know, with my trading card. Yeah, man, it was an awesome experience. I loved it. And then a couple years later, I ended up working on on another show where Ming was in.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I walked up to her and I go, hey, I don't know if you remember me. She's like right away, Geo, yeah. Our fight was like one of our, and you remember that show was, I don't know, Agents of Shields went for like, I think 8 seasons. I don't know. It went for a while, 10 seasons maybe, and she did a lot of fights. So it was cool that she, first of all, remembered me.
Yeah.
And then saying that was one of her best, one of her favorite fights out of the whole show,
That's so cool.
Yeah, that felt good too. So yeah, I would have to say Agents of Shields is one of my favorite ones, just because the whole acting thing and the whole experience, and yeah, I would have to say that one.
Nice. And I will, when the episode comes out, I'll definitely put a link to your IMDb, because I'm just looking through here and so many of my favorite shows and shows that I just love. I mean, Black Lightning, The Mandalorian, The Rookie, SWAT, Spider-Man No Way Home, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. I mean, Doom Patrol, Shazam. So, I mean, it's so many. Blue Beetle, another good one. I mean, so many good ones. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. I mean, that's so cool. And even the new Superman, the new Naked Gun movie. I mean, you've worked on some amazing stuff. That's so cool.
Like I said, man, I've been blessed, man. Yeah, a lot of, you can see a lot of the Marvel and DC stuff. So a lot of the superheroes, but yeah, man, a lot of big, like, blockbuster stuff,
Yeah.
So
awesome.
yeah, like I said, I'm always thankful. I'm always blessed, but like I said, man, I put in the work, brother. Like, I'm actually, after this interview, I'm going to go hit the gym again. It's going to be my second workout for today.
Nice.
And I love this stuff, man. I'm the type of person, I always just want to be ready for my next job kind of thing. I don't want to be like, oh, can you give me 3 weeks to get back in shape, or to be able to do that spinning kick? Nah, dude, I love this.
That's awesome.
I love this. I love training it. I love to teach. As of right now, actually, I started doing a couple of stunt workshops at different gyms out here in Virginia.
Okay.
And Francis is actually helping me out.
Nice.
We got a couple more set up next month. So yeah, man, I love sharing this, with the kids. And of course, these kids are getting even crazier with their martial arts skills. So sometimes it's a little bit easier to try to choreograph a little fight, because you can add a double, triple spin that these kids are doing into the fight, and to spice it up a bit.
Yep.
So yeah, I love it, man. The whole martial art thing, from day one, it always brought good things to me. It gave me confidence. Like I said, I'm a small guy. I've always played a sports, football, wrestling, and I was always a small guy in every team. But because of martial arts, it gave me that confidence to not be scared, that always believe in myself. And then I brought it into stunts and everything in my life, the work ethic,
nice.
Because, it took me, hard work to get my black belt. So that's right. Or even each belt, actually, so that teaches you about, when you have to do hard work and other things in your life,
nice.
Not to give up everything, we all have problems. We all get stuck in certain things, but, it's your mind, you can either sit there and cry about it, and nothing's going to happen really,
Yep.
or you can do, something about it. I've always been that kind of person too, man, about, we're humans, right?
Yeah.
Of course we're going to be sad and depressed and mad, all these different, negative feelings, but, and it's okay. But my thing is like, okay, snap out of it. You cried about it, you bitched about it, you whatever about it, move on, and because, as we all know, we've been going through problems since we're kids. So we always come out on top anyways. So for you to dwell on stuff and just be, my life, or this is too hard, or man, that's what, to me, like, if I'm depressed, I'm like, I'll cry about it or whatever the situation is. And then I'm like, you know what? Time to hit the gym. Let's go.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So looking back over all these things you've done in Hollywood, is there one actor, one actress that's on your dream list that you haven't got to work with yet that you really want to?
That I haven't got to work with. I was going to say, my favorite ones or favorite actors are Al Pacino, Leonardo DiCaprio,
nice.
these guys, Robert De Niro. I mean, these are great
Legends.
actors.
Yeah.
I haven't worked, I told you in the beginning, when I first moved to LA, I was doing background work. I got to work on a movie where Al Pacino was in, but I was only an extra. Okay. It was like a concert scene. Yeah. So it was like 1,000 of us,
Right.
So I didn't really get to meet him or nothing like that. But yeah, I haven't. These are kind of like my favorite ones, or some of my favorite ones. And it'd be cool to work on a movie with those guys. But honestly, man, like, yeah, The Rock, Johnny Depp. I mean, I already worked with these guys, Christian Bale.
Nice.
A lot of big names, I gotten lucky. And the cool thing for us as a stunt performer, like I said, like the extras, they're doing the thing, but they kind of keep them to the side. Stunt people were actually right there in the middle with the lead actors, because a lot of times, like I said, we're doing fight scenes with them, so we're actually talking to them, and you're right there, so we get that experience, to be around them. So that's always, I don't know, that's always been fun.
That is cool. Yeah, and I have friends that work in the industry that aren't martial artists and stuff, and some friends that have done extras and stuff. One of my friends, when she first moved out there, her first gig, she was a dead body on CSI, getting operated on and stuff. She thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's fun hearing those stories. And when I lived in California for a year, and just some of the celebrities I got to meet. I mean, like I won radio tickets and got to go to the Hollywood premiere in January of '97 when they re-released Star Wars. So I got to to shake Mark Hamill's hand, dude. I got to shake Luke Skywalker's hand.
That's awesome.
I mean, talk about
that's hilarious.
Exactly. And I was like a little kid, dude, I mean, this is 1997. I wish they didn't have camera phones back then, man.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, but
that's
then
funny,
I did that.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So that's just, I love these stories. They're so cool.
Yeah. It's fun, man. Like I try to, cause I like I said, 25 years now in the business. Of course, like I said, I love working on movies, but the whole, there's certain people, actors. I mean, I just see it like a job now. I got used to, working with the certain, big name, actor celebrities, it's still cool and fun, but yeah, it wasn't like when I first started, like the whole starstruck thing. Oh my God, it's so you're all nervous, trying to, say hi and everything. So
yeah,
it's been fun, man. I got to meet a lot of people and, like I said, be close to them and stuff. So
that is so cool. So over your martial arts journey, is there one philosophy for you that stands out that's super important to you?
With martial arts, I mean, my coaches, they've always tried to talk to me, about believing in myself and working hard. So I just remember all the positive things that they would say to me, but I kind of just but I used one on my own. Is not the size of the dog in the fight that matters. It's the fight in the dog.
Nice.
And then, that's just my thing. Like I said, because me being a small guy, coming from El Salvador, looking a certain way or whatever, sometimes, it was hard to do certain things, play sports, because of my size or whatever. But like I said, martial arts gave me that confidence, man, that I just believed in myself. And I don't care, you're 7 foot tall, let's face up, let's do this, yeah, that's what I would say. But yeah, just put in hard work, believe in yourself.
I like it.
Yeah.
How about a worst martial arts related injury?
Ooh, in martial arts, let me see. Actually, nothing in martial arts. Martial arts was good.
Okay.
Now stunts.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you get a lot of bumps and bruises, but I mean, come on, man. I mean, like I was telling you earlier, like I've done car hits, stair falls. I mean, the ground is, harder than your body. So,
yeah.
So definitely left with a lot of bumps and bruises. I've dislocated, fingers. I've broken, I'm not broken, but fractured my cheekbone. I would say that's been the worst one. Okay. Is fracturing my cheekbone. But I'll be honest, man, I'm pretty, on my toes when I'm on set, and when I saw something that was about to happen, either I stopped, backed off, or adjusted to it to, I wouldn't get hurt.
Nice.
So I feel like almost a little instinct, for safety, and so no, I haven't had any big injuries, nothing crazy,
Okay.
Yeah, because I've had friends die and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, it's stunts, man. Getting lit on fire. You can have people get burned. If you get hit by a car, you're gonna fly across, the street. We're still padded up, but pads can only protect so much. If you put your hand the wrong way, you're landing your foot a certain way, boom, there goes your ankle or your arm. You know what I'm saying? You can easily break stuff.
My middle son is going to school to be an actor. He's in his senior year in Utah.
Oh, no way. Cool.
And they've been trying to talk the head of the program into bringing in a professional stunt person to do a workshop with the class. And so far he hasn't.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I'll think about it. I'm hoping before he graduates, they get someone in there to actually do stunts with the kids. Cause he's, cause I told him get back in, cause he did martial arts till he was he had his second degree junior black belt in Taekwondo. So he did martial arts till he was about like 13, I think. And he quit because he was doing track and cross country and Nordic skiing and all this other stuff. But I think he's getting back into, I think he started training at a Cali Eskrima school in Salt Lake City.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, he's doing some of that. And
I think it's good, man. Even though he's doing the acting stuff, I mean, I don't know what kind of roles he'll go out there for, but if he's got to do some kind of action stuff, sometimes depending on how big or crazy, they still let actors do their own stunts. Yeah. Like, let's say if it's a martial arts fight kind of thing, they'll train them for a month or whatever it is. The whole, like you're learning martial arts, mitt work and kicking paddles and whatever. And then, so if he already has been doing the martial arts and is like, aware of like distance and timing and all those things, it helps, in the performance, even though he's more of an actor. Yeah. So I think it's a good idea for him to try it. And if he gets a chance to, but yeah, that's cool.
Well, hopefully maybe he'll work on a movie with you sometime.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be cool. So now you mentioned, obviously your first art was Taekwondo, and then you said you've been doing more like MMA stuff for the movies. Is there any other styles you've dabbled in for stuff?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, because Hollywood like stereotypes, and so if you just show them one thing, that's all they think you can do. If you say, I do gymnastics, all of a sudden, Geo's only a gymnast, don't hire him for anything else, only gymnastic stuff, or he's a karate guy, just karate, whatever. So yeah, man, in the movie business, you have to try to learn as much as you can. So of course I got into boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, grappling, wushu, kung fu, capoeira. So I've done a bunch. I'm not a professional at all of them, meaning like I didn't get black belts or anything like that. But I ended up learning just enough that I can make it look good for the movies.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any style that just personally you'd love to get more into, just for your personal stuff? Yeah,
I like grappling, man. I just think grappling, when it comes to fighting is more of it tends to be more of a realistic thing due to a lot of fights. I'm not saying the other stuff doesn't work, but tend to end up on the ground, and if you get taken down, I mean, let's say you're a badass kicker and you don't know how to grapple, you get taken to the ground. That's it. You're done. You can't kick from there. I mean, in a way, but you can, choke people out, put them arm bars, leg locks, all these different things. And so I don't know, the grappling. I just I didn't put in too much time. I remember going to check out a couple of gyms when I first started getting into grappling. And sometimes you have to be careful where you go, man, because, sometimes people are trying to show off. And I almost had one guy, ended up putting me on the armbar and I tapped, but he kind of popped my elbow out a little bit. And I was out, man. My elbow was hurting for like 2 weeks or something. So it always scared me to get injured trying to learn something and then get called for a job, and I would have to turn it down because I got hurt. Yeah. So I always played only with friends, here and there. They would teach me little things here and there. But I definitely wanna get into it more now. I don't get too much.
I like it. So then overall, are you a fan of MMA? Is that something you enjoy watching?
Yeah. I've been honestly slacking on some of the UFC fights lately, but I mean, dude, I was watching all of them from day one. When I don't know if you remember when it first started, where there were no weights and it was everyone just like a tournament. You finish one fight, you move to the next one. It wasn't like when Dana took it over, he made it more organized, more more safer. Things like that. So no, I was always a big fan. Lately, man, it's just been hard to keep up. It's like UFC every weekend.
Yeah, I know. It was like once or twice a year when it first started.
Yeah, right. And now it's like every weekend. I'm like, man, I got stuff to do. I can't really watch all of them, So yeah, I haven't kept up lately. I know there's a lot of new people, new good fighters also. So nice. But yeah, I love that stuff. And boxing too. I've been,
Yeah. So as a peer fan, did you enjoy the old school stuff with the only rules were no biting and no eye gouging, no weight classes, no time limits, or do you prefer the newer stuff?
Nah, it's just because of safety, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy because I don't remember that smaller guy fighting the big sumo wrestler where he was like 300 pounds
Knocked his
more
tooth out.
than remember that? Yeah, it
Yep.
was just like what they're calling it. Some states, it was illegal. They didn't want to have those kind of fights in their states,
Yep.
like cockfighting. That's
Yeah.
how they
Human
saw it.
cockfighting. Yep. I remember that.
Human cockfighting, and so yeah, that was crazy, man. But it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Even though I guess you could say it's cool to watch, but yeah, it's dangerous, man. You could kill somebody.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I liked it when Dana took it over, put it like in weights and the gloves and but it's still good. You see people getting knocked out and everything. You see some crazy fights.
Yeah.
So
I know one thing I don't like is that UFC bought all the smaller ones. I loved those the WEC and Pride and all
and Pride,
Bodog
Pride.
fight. I loved all those smaller ones that disappeared. It was nice to have an option and not only UFC. So
yeah, they didn't want any competition, I guess.
Yeah. I know, but it'd be one thing if they would have bought them and just kept them and operated them separately.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have made more sense business wise, I think.
Yeah. Well, then I think he just sell it or something, Dana.
Well, the Furtada brothers, I think they sold it. Yeah. But I think they kept. I think Dana still runs it. Yeah.
I heard something. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, I got a few fun questions we use to wrap up the show. So
we
were just talking about MMA. So let's say you decided you were going to step into the octagon. What's your walk-up music going to be? What song's playing as you're taking that walk into the cage?
I'll be honest. I like LL Cool J. Mama Said Knock You Out.
Nice. No one's ever picked that one.
Don't come back.
I love it.
I've been here for you. I use that. You know why I said that? Actually, I was listening to it this morning at the gym when I was working out. It punched me out. Like, yeah, I want to knock people out.
I like it. So speaking of LL, have you worked with him on anything?
No.
Okay.
I went and actually submitted the TV show he was at.
NCIS Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah. I submitted to that show. I never was able to get in. I saw him though, because when I went to drop off my headshot a couple of times, I would see him on set. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
Like muscular,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Who are 3, 4, 5 names you'd put on your personal Mount Rushmore of martial arts?
Bruce Lee, I said he's like the god of martial arts to me.
Okay.
Maybe some people might see some of these ones, a little different than me now. But of course, because there's some of the reasons that I got into the martial arts. But Jean-Claude Van Damme, Jackie Chan. We're talking about Mark Dacascos. Who else? Let me see in the martial arts. Then I would say Ernie. I would have to put Ernie up there too. He's one of the reasons I got into martial arts, and he was just he's a badass, with the martial arts.
Yep.
I
like it. Yeah. That's a great Mount Rushmore. Awesome. All right. How about a favorite martial arts book?
Martial arts book?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me say about.
I see your bookshelf behind you. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm like looking at because I had the Bruce Lee one, the Jeet Kune Do.
Yep, Tao Jeet Kune Do. Yep.
Tao Jeet Kune Do. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I would have to say that one since it's a martial arts book.
That's a good one. All right. How about a favorite martial arts video game? Did you ever get into video games when you were a kid?
Yeah, and not anymore. As a kid, Mortal Kombat was one of the crazy ones, so I used to play that one. Street Fighter 2, but I would say I like Mortal Kombat due to you were able to detach people's heads and stuff. Get over here.
Nice. I love it. That's awesome. All right, these last couple questions, you can't use anything you've been involved in. So it might be a little hard for you, but a favorite martial arts TV show?
Favorite martial art TV show? Sidekicks.
Nice.
The one with Ernie. Yeah.
That's one I wish, because it's owned by Disney. I wish they'd put it on Disney Plus. Clean it up and re-release.
You're right.
Yeah. You can find grainy episodes on YouTube, but they're really bad.
You're right. I've seen like one episode. Yeah. And you're right.
So I'm hoping. I've actually emailed Disney and be like, please clean this up and re-release it. We really want to see this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck, they could even, reboot it, man. Bring Ernie back.
I know, right? Yeah.
That'd be cool.
How they're doing like Cobra Kai, they can do that with this one too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How about a favorite martial arts movie?
Favorite martial arts movie? Yep. I'll be honest, man. I could watch Rumble in the Bronx over and over and over. Yeah. I like all Jackie Chan movies. I think his best stuff, at least for me, were his early stuff, 70s, 80s,
Yep.
And like Police Story, Wheels on Meals or something like that, Meals on Wheels.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the best ones. But yeah, I remember when Rumble in the Bronx came out, man, I was just like, what in the world? Yeah, I can watch that one.
Yeah,
a million times and not get bored.
Yeah, and the Meals on Wheels. A lot of people talk about that one just because of the fight with Benny the Jet.
Oh, dude, that's one of my favorite. And
Yeah.
at one of the gyms I was teaching at, and when I first moved to LA, House of Champions, and Benny was friends with the owner, Mark Pera. And he used to come there, you know?
Nice.
So I was like, oh, man, sir, can I get a picture? I was like, dude, because of that movie, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, dude. I mean, he was a badass in his time, too, though, you know?
Yeah.
The fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Benny the Jet.
He was awesome. I got to meet him 1995 when I was in California. I went to the Internationals in Long Beach, and he was one of the guests. I got to meet him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was kind of cool to meet him in person. So.
Yeah, totally. All those guys, man, I love the old guys. You know, Cynthia Rothrock was another one. She would come stop by the gym because she was friends again with the owner at this gym they teach at. She was another badass. You know, her movies.
Yep, she still is. I mean, she's still a badass.
Dude. Yeah, that's true too. You know, but I don't know, old school stuff. I love the old school stuff.
That's cool. You have to go back and listen to some of my old episodes because I've interviewed Cynthia, Benny, Bill,
really? Did you?
Bill Superfoot Wallace. I mean, yeah.
My God,
Don the
that's
Dragon
funny.
Wilson. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Final question. Now, this one doesn't have to be a martial arts movie, but any movie you've seen in your whole life, favorite movie fight scene?
Favorite movie fight scene?
Mm-hmm. People pick Rocky, Star Wars, Marvel. You know, we have people pick The Princess Bride. I mean, anything goes.
The Princess Bride. I remember that movie.
That's right.
With Andre the Giant. You know what? I mean, I would have to, I guess, say, I love sports movies, anything, boxing, football, you know, things like that, anything that's motivational. And I would have to say Rocky, because of that, you know, he's the underdog kind of thing, you know, and because you know how I was telling you earlier, like I love the way martial arts had brought me, you know, everything. I mean, or I'm able to use martial arts in my everyday, you know, because the way that, you know, I grew up in El Salvador, coming, you know, from no money, all these different things, the struggle, right? So that's what, you know, Rocky represents, right? That person, he's like the underdog, the no money, you know, whatever. He puts in the work, he gets a chance. I'm a big believer of that, man, in life. You know, you put in the time, you put in the work. Of course, sometimes it doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. But, you know, if you just keep at it, man, like I'm just a big believer that you will get a chance, you know, at something big if you put in the time.
That is
cool. So yeah, Rocky.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, before I let you go, is there anything I forgot to ask you, or you just want to be sure we get out there quick before we wrap this up?
Not really, man. We talked a lot about this stuff, you know, martial arts and stunts. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is always cool, you know, to share my experiences, my life story, you know, with the martial arts and stunts. I love this. Anybody out there, like I said earlier, stay positive, you know, put in the work, set your mind, you know, to whatever you're trying to do, man. And I know it gets hard, but you just got to keep at it, you know. I always remember a quote from Mike Tyson. You know, he's one of my favorite boxers also, you know. I have a couple, but Mike Tyson, you know, whatever, train, you know, how does it go? Train like you love something, or oh man, I'm messing it up, you know. Yeah, but basically, you know, even if you hate something, you know, like the training part of your experience, you know, do it like you love it, you know?
Like it.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, Tyson, that's another one. He's a dream guest. I'm hoping trying to get him on the show too. He'd be fun to chat with. That's cool. Well, seriously, Geo, this has been so much fun. You have an amazing story. You've led such an amazing life. And I wish you nothing but continued success. And I think the listeners are really going to love this episode.
Awesome. Yeah, again, thanks for having me. This was awesome. Nice, talking to you.
Thanks for listening to Everyday Martial Artist. We hope you will join us every week for a brand new episode with a different martial artist telling their story. If you enjoy the show, be sure to leave us a review. Also, be sure to check out our website at everydaymartialartist.com. There you can find all of our episodes and contact us to suggest guests and ask questions. Again, thanks for listening to Everyday Martial Artist, and we'll see you next week.